Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori and this is Africa 54. We begin in Egypt, a country in the grip of fear and uncertainty tonight. The military-imposed deadline for a political deal has expired and Egyptians are waiting to see what action the military will take. Here are the latest pictures from Cairo, where anti-government protesters have massed on one side of the city and supporters of President Morsi on the other. Just before the deadline passed, Morsi proposed a coalition government as a way out of the crisis. But he repeated he has no intention to step down. Media reports indicate that military officials are prepared to suspend the constitution, dissolve the legislature, and set up an interim administration. Morsi's Muslim Brotherhood says they are prepared to stand in front of tanks and martyr themselves to prevent what they see as a coup attempt. We get more from VOA's Henry Ridgwell in London.
Above Tahrir Square, the military helicopters buzzing Cairo elicit cheers from the crowds below. The protests are swelling, the opposition emboldened by the military's ultimatum that President Morsi reaches a power-sharing deal.
Dr. Morsi can suggest anything to the people here in the square. But as you can see, it's the people of the square who are doing the talking.
All eyes are on the army's next move, says Maha Azam of Policy Institute Chatham House, who spoke to VOA on the phone from Egypt.
What we're seeing is the upper echelons of the military attempting to dictate the political process in Egypt. They don't want to be at the forefront of politics, but they are ultimately directing the political roadmap. And that is unacceptable in a democracy.
President Morsi has rejected the military's demand. In a statement Tuesday, he said he would not let the clock be turned back on civilian rule. The Muslim Brotherhood called for the president's supporters to take to the streets to express their refusal of any coup. Again, Maha Azam.
The polarization that is happening in Egypt today is greater than one that we've ever seen before. And the consequences of unseating a freely elected president are going to be absolutely chaotic in terms of the interests of the Egyptian people as a whole and the future of democracy in the region at large.
The protesters feel this is a second revolution, says Emily Dyer of analyst group the Henry Jackson Society.
Many people feel that the demands that they had in the first revolution in January 2011, which was, to put it simply, bread, freedom and social justice, have not yet been met.
But Dyer says the opposition has failed to offer a cohesive alternative.
No opposition parties within the National Salvation Front, which is the umbrella opposition movement, have yet put forward a clear alternative policy plan, whether that would be dealing with the economic problems that Egypt's currently facing, the problem of the fact that a third of their budget is spent on subsidies.
Britain and Germany echoed US President Obama's concerns over the crisis Tuesday and urged a peaceful resolution. Rupert Colville is spokesman for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights.
It's really important that the government, the opposition get together and discuss how they can move forward. Egypt's democracy is obviously very fragile and nobody wants to see it collapse or fall apart in some way.
Analysts say Egypt is now entering the unknown and the military will likely decide the fate of President Morsi in the coming days. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.
Well, for more perspective, I'm joined in the studio by Mohammed Elshinnawi, VOA's senior correspondent Middle East. Mohammed, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you.
Now, the deadline has expired in Egypt. Paint for us what you see as a possible scenario that might unfold.
Well, actually, when the army intervened, they said they will have a road map for the future of Egypt, and the road map will not be imposed by the army generals, but actually it is a response to what people have in mind. The problems that Morsi as a president had, some of it was out of his reach because of the bad economic situation and
you know, the economy has been really bad, but people say that he focused more on consolidating power than fixing the economy.
That is the problem, because people were revolting against Mubarak, hoping that their economic condition would be much better. It got worse. The major food supplies are not there. The shortages in everything from electricity to gas and gasoline is becoming a rampant problem. So on top of that, they see that there is no vision. There is no plan to advance Egypt. And then the desire to have Muslim Brotherhood all over the place, regardless of their capabilities. And people were looking for technocrats to take over to solve real crucial problems. Now, the road plan would include dissolving the Shura Council, which is dominated by the Islamists, call for new elections of the president, of a president and a parliament, then forming a three-member council to run the country in the transitional period, and the army is not taking over. That's the new thing.
That's what they've said.
Yeah.
But on the side of Morsi, he was part of the revolution. How didn't he see this coming?
Well,
I mean, what was wrong? From what you hear?
The problem, Muslim Brotherhood worked hard for over 80 years to lose everything in 1 year.
Yeah.
Some people think it is political stupidity, but I think it is naivety rather than stupidity, because they are not seeing except one vision, is to make Egypt a part of an Islamic empire or Islamic nation, regardless of what the Egyptians want. And they excluded everybody. So they didn't think outside of the box.
Thank you. And the Egyptian came out and said, we don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
Mohammed, thank you very much for joining us today for your insights. Mohammed Elshinnawi is from here. The Voice of America is a senior reporter in Middle East.